folks, how's it going? So yeah, I know we had the last video go up. It was one of the more professional videos, courtesy of Perry Mercer at Main Event Video Limited or Incorporated. I can't remember. Sorry, Perry. Main Event Video. Look those cats up. Perry does a great job. Because today I'm going off the beaten path a little bit here, and wanted to discuss something that kind of goes hand in hand with music and musicians. Um, Being that mental health and how it's associated with music and stuff. Uh, with COVID and since that came in, everybody's sort of suffering financially, and especially the guys that are doing this like 100% full time for their income. And that got wiped out or significantly reduced in some cases. Some people managed to bounce back and get working again full time, and that's great. That's really good to see. Some people not so lucky. Myself, I haven't played since November 27th of last year, and it kind of sucks. But luckily for me, I have a full time job, and through the jigs and reels of it, have been doing okay. Same with my partner. She's who sings in our band, the beautiful Tammy LeGros. Same thing, has a job. Our drummer Alex Kornick has a job. Perry Mercer has a job. So for us, yes, we were affected financially, but not as bad as some other people. We were lucky to have day jobs. So I can imagine how hard it is for someone to wake up and not have any idea how they're paying the rent or putting groceries on the table, paying the mortgage or whatever. And with gas being the way it is now, sticking gas in the car, which ultimately, I guess, is making it harder now too for out of town gigs. So that's got to factor into things too for all of us, I guess. That just came right to my head. Like, how can you play out in Gander or somewhere now for from St. John's for $600? Can't be justified. That's your gas money gone right there. But back to topic and talking about mental health and music. When we all started playing instruments, we did it for different reasons. Some people did it because they just love music so much and they wanted to be able to play what they were hearing on whatever instrument, whether it's drums, guitar, bass, piano. Or there's a social aspect of it, or your buddies all put a band together and they had a guitar, 3 guitar players, as it was in every small town like I grew up in. Everybody played guitar, and there was like one bassist and one drummer, but somebody's given the task of getting a bass, and then there's the guy that was kind of had to take up the slack, and those folks are called drummers. Not a dig, sorry guys, but just so they could have the social aspect of it. For some people, it's a creativity thing. They like to write songs and sort of put themselves out there, and that's how they express themselves, wear their heart on their sleeves through lyrics. For some people, it's a practice routine that they go through, developing a different skill set every week, being able to do something that this week that you couldn't necessarily do that week. But we all started it for some different reason. And, it right now and through the jigs and reels of it all, I guess it affects everybody. So if you're doing it for that social aspect of it, sort of to get away from work, get away from the kids, get away from like everything that's sort of in your daily schedule, you might not have that right now. You might just have work and home and the kids, and that was the case with me a few years ago, more than a few years, over a decade ago now. I was running a business on my own. I had a small trucking company, and people will always think it's great to own a business, but it's not a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday job. It's you're married to it. It's the biggest relationship you'll have in your life is your business. Because for me, for a 10-year period, I had no vacations, no days off, nothing. So when the opportunity came up, when I ran into some high school friends randomly, and the timing was there, we started a cover band, and it was my outlet from the stress of everything I was going through every day. And it was the same thing for other members of the band. It was a social thing. It was fun again. It was just like being in high school. for those of us who do it full time, as I said in the beginning of this video, that it's got to be rough. Your income is gone or slashed in half, or you're playing for less money and you're playing less, gigs, not as many nights during the week. And it's a weird thing music is, and our attachment to it, because no matter if you're the person who does it for a living or a person who does it for the social aspect, or even those people that undercut to get Facebook statuses to show your high school friends that, hey, look at me, because you're still looking for that acceptance. It's changed. The whole thing has changed, and it's not like it used to be, and it's not there anymore. So it's lonely, but we're all connected to music some way. Like, there's that thing inside of us that wanted us to learn how to play music, and the reasons we do it, like I said, are different. And I can't even imagine some of the people that it's got to be hard on the people that write their own music all the time, and that's what they perform, and they don't go out and do covers and often, and they record records, and they've been doing it for 20 years, and they're still pushing that rock up the hill because they can't get the support from local radio, they can't get the support in the local scene. And that's the unfortunate part about our small city, is the scene's no longer supportive to anybody, cover band, original alike. The Irish guys seem to have a little bit of camaraderie, because a lot of them play in the same fucking bands together, but they seem to have, they're a busy scene, so I guess they kind of got to do that. And maybe I rag on the whole Irish scene and whatever, but maybe we need to start taking lessons from those guys and looking at the camaraderie. But back to those guys who write original music all the time, and you're not getting that support, and then you're looking at some young fella who yesterday wasn't even doing music, or wasn't even doing the same genre of music you were. They were doing something else, and all of a sudden radio's all over them, and everybody's, because they're hooking onto the bandwagon of a certain music genre. It's got to be tough. And I always look at the general public who aren't musicians, and I don't think they understand us at all. I think that they look at us and they see these really outgoing, outspoken kind of people, and they don't realize that a lot of musicians are actually very introverted. And once again, this is their outlet. This is how they get out. This is how they get identified as who they are. They're a musician. Outside of that, they're Jim, the guy who comes in and installs your cable, and who has 2 kids and doesn't go outside the door only to play. Jam with his band and play gigs, and that's all being taken away, kind of. So it's a rough go of it, and for anybody who's feeling that way, I thought I'd just speak up and say, hey, you're not really alone. We all go through it. We all struggle, and the guys doing original music and the guys that have been at it for 20, 30 years, I can't really imagine 30 years of banging on the same doors and the same, walking the same streets and getting the same rejection, but you keep doing it anyway because that's who you are and that's how you're wired. It's got to be rough, and I applaud you for it, definitely, for having that stick-to-itiveness to be able to, day in and day out, believe in what you're doing, and that's commendable and very important to do. But just hold tight, and hopefully stuff eventually, we'll come back together. I thought maybe with the come home years, we all might start getting a little bit busier again, but it seems like a lot of municipalities and provincial government and things are going for the Celtic thing again. I don't know what it is about Newfoundland, where people trying to prove that they're more Irish than the actual Irish. New tourism commercial, it's the same as the last fucking 20. There's a salt box house, the ocean, and kids running through a bunch of quilts on Nan's line. And somebody playing a fiddle and stomping. That's not our culture all the way. We've got so much more to offer with this province, and it's being overlooked. We're starting to get a pretty cool country scene here. It seems to be picking up a little bit. Those guys might need a bit of support. They might, put these on a bill. Put a bunch of bands like that on a bill. You know, like different. Have a country, have a rock, have an Irish. You know, go outside, paint outside the lines a little bit, boys. But like I said, I think the general public doesn't really look at us like we're these people who struggle. It's like, oh, you know, buddy's a laugh. He plays guitar in a band to people, or he's a drummer. He's crazy, whatever. You know, all they do is they drink and they smoke or dope and sleep all day, and that's not who we are. Most of us have day jobs, careers, and families, and raise children, and live exactly the same way as you do. So being stigmatized like that is kind of shitty. But you know, we're struggling too. This is an industry filled with a lot of talented people who really can't get their voice heard right now. So this is why I preach every time I do one of these videos. You need to get out and support local music. You need to get out and support all local music, not just a guy who's playing an acoustic and singing the same covers over and over again as the guy who was just on before him down to Green Sleeves. Sorry, Green Sleeves, but I got to call you out on it. Go see the bands. Give them some love too. There's nothing wrong with going down to Green Sleeves and seeing. They've got, like, Dave White is a fantastic performer. Damien Follow played there for years. Damien is above and beyond, you know, so many people when it comes to his music. You know, he's a songwriter, he's an entertainer, he's just all around. His energy is just crazy. You know, but the point I'm making is that God love him for having live music down there, but there's other people that need the support as well right now. So if you see a band playing, go out and support them. Also on that note, just like to say to anybody, feel like reaching out, you know, whatever. You're on my Facebook, you know, you're feeling, you know, I'll talk to you. If you're feeling down about, you know, the way things are going musically right now, you're not alone. And that's the whole reason that I put this video up. Just to let you know there are more people out there that are feeling the pinch of COVID and the financial aspect, the not having the music aspect, you know, the fun aspect, the social aspect, and it's sad. So that's it, folks. And with that, if you're out in Goulds this evening, the parish hall here in Goulds, St. Kevin's Parish Hall, are having a food bank drive. The admission is, you pick up your tickets. They're free, but you donate a non-perishable food item to the food bank. It's a great cause. We got the Gambins from Placentia, who, oddly enough, Des and Damien played, Des Gambin and Damien Follow played together for years in Rogues Gallery and Riff Raff. Damien was Des was one of the first guitar players I ever saw in my life where I went, holy shit, you can play the stuff that we're hearing on the radio. Because he was that good. Excuse me. And Cripple Creek, Don Brenton, Brent Parsons, the Cyril Drover, and Toby Martin, they're all playing this evening as well. Great band, great times. So, you know, if you're in Goulds, pop by. Doors open at 8:30. Cheers, folks.